the page that most users are going to be using, whether it's the assistance, the spray text, and then the page where what you're trying to communicate to everybody will show up. So in the Maps video, I talked about map notes, but basically we have calendar events. Any of the calendars you want to share to this page will show up here. By default, it's the tournament calendar, the agronomy, the applications, and you can always add new calendar or add new events. So I'm going to say add, just call it tournament, and then we will use the tournament calendar. April 18th, we'll just say 5-day tournament, and then create event. So now that shows up in there, and any events you have, even if you have an application log, what's really great is it'll say spray greens whatever. If you click on the application, and it'll then bring up the spray sheet that you can print out directly. So there is no more bouncing back and forth between websites and not realizing that today was a spray day and forgetting to put it out. This little gear icon is, most people seem to prefer the 3-day event. And if you have an event that's tomorrow, it'll say tomorrow in here. So people won't get confused and think that the tournament is today when in fact it's 3 days from now. But we also clearly say in here the next 3 days. But let me do this. So I'm going to do April 19th and say spray, but I'm not attaching a spray brew to it. Put that in the applications, create tasks. Now it'll say that this event is actually tomorrow. So any notes that you write in here will show up on the job board. And this is just an area that you can communicate with your entire staff, what's on the TV or printout, whatever you do. Map notes, any to-dos that you're out in the field and you mark locations. Add pictures will show up here, and there will be a red bubble for your assistants to know you have something that you want addressed. General notes, these stay persistent from day to day. So if you want to have kind of a constant reminder in here or something that just doesn't go away, you have to delete these notes. This is just kind of a post-it note that sits on your wall. And then diary is anything you want. So as an example, in the maps thing, we put in there that in the maps, we put a to-do to fertilize the tea. We marked it as completed, so that automatically went in the diary. If there was a spray brew that was done and that was marked as completed, that will show up in here too. But you can just write, had issue with John showing up late. And then when you go and you can attach PDFs, you can attach anything you want. But when you're in the admin section of this, say in 6 months, you can just go to your diary, type in John, and it'll bring up every single note that you've ever entered. So it's just a way for you to kind of keep track of stuff and have it easily be searchable down the road. These are kind of to-do that you can do for, it's not working right now because I'm not the admin for this website. But this will be general to-do items, submit ag report, check well. You can have daily reminders so that you know your staff is doing these certain things every single day. And it's just a shared to-do list for you and the people that you want to share it with. So currently we're on Saturday, April 18th morning shift. In here we have all the tasks. You can search, scroll, create a new task. And what I always tell people is when you're creating a new task, I highly suggest you don't put mow greens. Put mow, and then select the areas that you want to do. Put fertilize, and then select the areas that you want to do. It'll really help you dial in your reports later on because you could be able to tell, in this case, how much money you spent mowing, how many labor hours you spent mowing. But then if you want to go to a report that says greens, you can select that, and it'll list out what your labor dollars were on greens, what your hours were on greens, your chemicals, your sand. It'll list every single thing that you've applied. So all of this is to make the job board as easy as possible, but on the back end to provide the information that you need when you need it. So if I do that, it's not going to let me because I'm not the admin. You'll end up with those jobs. So we have the to-do, the notes, 4 different versions and then the events. You can hide that to make a little more room to work with. And then over here we have this one, but you can sort your staff by who's scheduled to work, any team number you assigned, color you assigned. So if you have a weekend crew that's Team 1 and you just want to see those names, you click Team 1. If you want to see Team 1 and anyone that in our case, we color code the irrigators to blue. So we go Team 1, blue, and then it shows just the irrigators on Team 1. But this little button right here, you click that, completely maximizes your entire screen to build your whiteboard. So I'm going to do cut cuffs, and then we'll go to mow fairways, mow greens. So right now I have a preset schedule for mowing fairways. So that's right here. I can edit it if I want to, but that's already been predetermined in the schedule. I want to put Brooks Kopka on cutting cups. I put them on cutting cups. I changed my mind, just drag them over to mow fairways, and that's done. You can also do the little circle here and select as many people as you want, and then say, I want you 4 guys to mow fairways. Now, when you don't have a mowing schedule set for like mow greens and you drag some under the job, you'll say, how would you like to mow your greens? So I'd like to mow at 12 to 6 in a loop pattern. You can also say, don't ask again, and then you won't be bothered with this pop-up. So do that, and there it is. Now I'm going to put Shuffler on cutting cups. She's a good putter. You can also come in here, click on that, write any notes you want for the task, and that'll say Cut Cups, Scotty Shuffler, with any notes that you want to write. So in this case, we'll put start on 9. You do that. Now there's your job board. It's that simple. So come back out. Up here, it shows everybody in here is $20 an hour, I think is what it is. So you'll get a running total of only your hourly labor. We do not put salaried staff in here because we don't want, say, one of your assistants to add your other assistant and then know how much money they might make. So this is just hourly, but you can also hide that number. Now, the only way it can be put back is behind the password protection that you have in admin. But you have that up there if you ever want to track, does not show up on the job board. So go to Display Preview. And right now, this is showing afternoon because it's the afternoon today. But we're going to go to the morning shift. So there's the job board and mow greens direction, mow fairways direction, cut cups. The notes are not showing up because of my admin privileges right now in this. But afternoon board at 9 a.m., in this case, it switches automatically. And then the late board at 1 o'clock automatically. So you can export this if you don't have a TV, and then it just prints out a black and white version of this. We don't have the background image print to save on the massive amount of printer ink. But then you can tape this to the doors, put it up in your break room, whatever you want. But some guys don't have the TV in their break room. So we provide a print option. This Publish button is only if you want to override the schedule. So right now it says Manual Override Active because I've published the board. So if I hit Publish now at 5 a.m., the next day it'll update to the correct board once I hit Publish. But if for some reason you want to post the morning job board at noon, you can come in here and change that. Down here we have the themes, golf theme, dark mode. A lot of guys like this modern blue version. I always prefer something with a golf course in the back. Here we have our widgets. You want to see them or you don't. You can usually fit about 3 on there in total, and then you can obviously drag them around. But you saw it move over here. But the daily notes will show up. Countdown timers for, say, a tournament. QR code. That's if you want to put a QR code to your job board up on the TV, and your guys can take a picture of it for the first week and bookmark it so they can see what their jobs are. And as you saw, this note was from the whiteboard. We also made it where when you're in this view, you can change it if you want. And then what happens is it ends up changing in here. So we're going to go back to display. But you do not need to hit publish. That's one thing I want to tell everybody. Let me go back to the morning. So if you have a lot of crew, you can eliminate the avatars. Simple click. You can put first names only, first and last, because this is a public board. And when asked why it's a public board, it's so that you can share it with your pro, your general manager, your greens chairman, whatever. They can have a bookmark and see what's going on anytime you want. Now schedule, we only use by default morning and afternoon shifts. Some guys have late people that come in, but at 5 a.m., it'll post that date's morning board, 9 a.m., that one 1 p.m., that one. If I turn this off on at 1 p.m., it'll change. But you can change these times to whatever you want depending on your schedule. This crew starts, I think it's 6 a.m., so the job board posts at 9, lunch is from 9 to 10. So as soon as they come in for lunch, they can see their afternoon. And then we do have this button as well. So you can change that and just have whatever jobs you want posted. Let me get rid of the schedule. We do have all shifts. So all shifts, you can pick which ones you want. I'm going to do morning and afternoon, show 2 shifts. Now it'll show, and let's get rid of avatars here. So make more room. All of your morning shifts on one side and all of your afternoon shifts on the other. This is good if you have less than like 20 people. Anything more than that, we can't really fit it into either side. So that's all shifts. And that's the entire job board summed up.